You meet somebody, I mean anybody, a man, a woman, old, young, it doesn't matter. And you're talking to them and you really hit it off. You really click. And you say that you like this movie and they agree and they also like it and they've seen it and they talk to you a little bit about it. And you like this politician and they agree, and you keep on building this rapport with this person. And they agree with you 100% on just about everything, right? Sometimes they might say something that you're like, oh, I don't really know about that. But then they sort of like adjust what they're saying, and then all of a sudden you're in agreement. And you're like smiling again, right? Okay, when that happens to you, and it will, when that happens to you, trust me that you are being played somehow. You are being conned. And you'll find out soon enough how they are conning you. But see, there is a great difference between somebody with whom you hit it off and you establish a rapport and eventually a friendship, and those people who are conning you. And the difference is very simple. When you meet somebody and you two hit it off and you start talking about, you know, football teams and movies and politicians and what have you, and you agree pretty much on everything, and then you're going to stumble upon something that you genuinely disagree on. And it's going to be a good-natured disagreement. And you'll talk about it and argue about it and laugh about it, because what's happened is that you've already built up a rapport. And you see, the person who is genuine, the person with whom you are genuinely hitting it off, will not fear disagreeing with you. They don't want anything from you. They just want your friendship. Okay? But you see, those people who are trying to crook you, who are trying to con you, who are trying to sell you something, who are trying to manipulate you, they will always agree with everything that you say. For instance, with me here in this channel right now, you listen to me and I say a lot of things that some of you agree with and some of you don't agree with. Some of you think that, you know, my opinions on Trump, whom I consider an imbecile, are just, you know, heretical. And others of you who are all MGTOW, and I think that MGTOW is just a period of your life, and generally it's kind of foolish, and I'm going to get into that more in future posts. Well, you think also that I'm a heretic for thinking that MGTOW is not the be-all, end-all, right? The fact that you disagree with me, the fact that I'm speaking my mind and just telling you what I actually think, with my reasons, of course, well, see, that tells you that I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm not trying to crook you in any way. Because you can disagree with me or agree with me, as the case may be, but I'm not looking at some kind of like some kind of market survey or some shit like that, you know, trimming my sails, altering my opinions in order to reach the widest demographic. I mean, come on, think about the shit that I say on this channel on a regular basis, right? I don't give a shit what anybody thinks. I don't give a shit if anybody likes it or not. If I lose subscribers, fine. If I gain subscribers, well, that's great too. I don't care. But when you agree with everything that somebody is saying, and they say it in a way that just about anybody can agree with it, then you know you're being sold, you know, you're being sold something. You are being conned. You are being crooked. Now, this is very important. See, because there are people, charming people out in the world, really charming people. They can charm the socks off of you. I mean, they are just charismatic, magnetic. They smile at you and you just feel better, right? Men and women, I'm not talking about in a sexual sense, I'm talking in a charisma sense, in a sense of like they buoy you up, they make you feel terrific. These people, if they're cunning, they become con artists or salespeople of some sort or other. These people you have to be very, very careful about. And they will talk to you and they will agree with everything that you say. You will say that, oh, the sky is green, and they'll be like, yeah, the sky really is green, yeah. This shit that it's blue, bullshit, that's a commie conspiracy. And you'll be like, yes sir, like a fucking idiot, right? You have to be very careful with such people, because it is easy to confuse them with people who will become your close friends. That's what they are doing. They are mimicking the interaction of a close friend. See, you meet some guy, you know, John, and you start talking to John and you hit it off on this, that, the other, politics, sports, everything, right? And then you come across some trivial subject, or maybe something very important. Maybe he's like pro-choice and you're pro-life, like you should be. Say he's pro-choice and you're like, no man, I'm pro-life. And he's like, no man, it's pro-choice. And you start arguing about it. Okay. Now, depending on how big of an asshole he is, you know, you're going to argue about it for quite a bit, and it could get kind of ugly if you're not careful, right? But suppose you've had enough interaction that you realize that John is a pretty decent guy and he realizes that you're a pretty decent guy, right? So both of you are going to kind of pull back, but neither one of you is going to cede your ground. That's the guy is a potential friend and he's not trying to sell you something. See? Because if in the same situation with a con man or a con woman or somebody who's trying to crook you somehow, somebody who's trying to sell you somehow, they would be like, oh, I'm pro-choice. And you'd be like, no, I'm pro-life. And they'd be, well, yeah, I know, but, I guess it's only in the case of rape and incest, and then they like, finesse it, okay? Finesse it so as to smooth away any kind of friction between you two. Because every good con man, every good salesperson, every good, a gypsy who's trying to crook you somehow, they all want to smooth away any aspersion, any friction between you two. And so no matter how big it is, no matter how big the stumbling block, they'll smooth it away. Look, you can show up bloody with a knife in your hand, and a dead body just 5 yards behind you, stabbed horribly to death. And if they are trying to crook you, they're going to pretend that they don't even see it, okay? They will do anything to convince you. Okay, I'm not talking that they're psychopaths, okay? I'm talking about salespeople, I'm talking about women who are hitting the wall and want to lock down a guy and will say anything to convince him. I'm talking about anybody who wants something from you, okay? And you're gonna come across a lot of such people. A lot of such people who will charm the ever-living pants off of you, and they can get you in a lot of trouble if you're not careful. It's easy to confuse them with potential friends. I've repeated that twice now. And it's very, very true, But these salespeople, these con men, they're not your friends. They just want something from you. And as soon as they get it, they will dump you. And they will dump you and they will look at you after the fact with contempt. Because how do you feel about somebody that you fooled? You feel that they're pathetic. You think that they're idiots, right? That is what these people look at you as. Anybody who agrees with you 100% thinks that at heart you're a fool and they are fucking with you. Be smart.